Hi, I'm George Scudiero, and I'm here with Sheriff Mike Chitwood, and he's here to help answer my questions for my Genius Hour project at Pathways Elementary about his job as our sheriff. Sheriff Chitwood, thank you for your service, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you, George. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
To start off, would you mind telling about your career prior to being sheriff?
Sure. I began my career with the Philadelphia Police Department in 1987, and I spent 18 years there serving in various roles, patrol, tactical, detective division, and eventually ended my career as a lieutenant in the homicide division. After being there for 18 years, I became the police chief in Shawnee, Oklahoma. I spent a year there as the chief, and then one of the greatest things in the world that ever happened to me, I got hired by the city of Daytona Beach. And I spent 10 and a half years there as the chief, and then in October of 2016, I got elected Volusia County Sheriff.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What is your first reaction when you hear a deadly or major attack has happened?
The first reaction is always for the victims and their families.
Yeah.
What can we do to help the victims and families? So obviously, when you hear it in progress, it has started, the first instinct is to get as much resources in there as we can to stop the bad guy at all costs. And then comes the really hard part of dealing with the victims and the victims' families. And that's what we're really in business for in law enforcement, is we really work for the victims and their families.
Thank you. Now that school is almost 2 months through, do you think that the school guardian program has been successful?
That is a great question. I was a little pessimistic, I should say, at first, that we were going to get enough people that were qualified to do the job. And now, being 2 months into the school year, I am pleasantly pleased with the caliber of individuals that are part of the school guardian program. And at least once or twice a week, I'll run into a parent in Walmart or Publix, and they'll say to me, hey, we really love our school guardian. The guy is great, or the girl is great. And that is a compliment, I think, to all of us.
That's good. How do you train your officers to handle an armed person?
Well, we train in active shooter training. We train in schools, churches, businesses, and many years ago, there really was no training when I first started in policing. You called the SWAT team out, and the SWAT team would handle an armed person, and you would wait forever for the SWAT team to come. And then after Columbine, we changed. We did 4 officers. The first 4 officers would form a team and then go in and try to take the shooter or neutralize the shooter. And now, the preferred method is the first officer on scene, or the first deputy on scene, has all the equipment that they need to make a decision, an ethical or moral decision. Do they go in alone and try to take that person out, knowing they might not survive? And that's how we train now. We train to run toward the gunshots. We have the weaponry that's needed, and we also have to have the mentality that you may get shot, you may get killed, and nobody may come to help you. But your job is, as long as that guy's shooting, you have to stop him as quick as possible.
All right, here's a big one. What's your message to kids about their own safety?
Message to the kids is really simple. If you see something, say something. Lots of problems that may happen in a school are thwarted when a student reaches out to a parent or a teacher and says, hey, I heard this, I saw this, I read this, I'm a little concerned. So by taking responsibility for your own safety and your school safety and your classmates' safety, that is the best message that we can send. If you see something, say something. And I think we'll all get through this together. Because I have to tell you, I didn't grow up like you in the era that you guys have grown up. There was no such thing as a school shooting when I went to school. That was the last thing on your mind. And I think of that all the time now. Especially I have a grandson at your age, of what goes through your mind when you guys hear about these incidents, and what do you guys think about school safety? So while you're interviewing me, how about if I ask you that question? What, if you were me, what do you feel is the best way to keep your school safe?
Just the contact to any adult if you see something suspicious or something that just does not look good. Just reach out to someone who can do something.
I think you said that better than I did, coming from a student. That's a great job.
Thank you. And to wrap things up, what's your advice to kids who maybe later in life want to be involved with police work?
I can tell you that you're not going to get rich in this job, but it is very rewarding, because you always see the bad stuff. You don't see all the good stuff that the deputies and the police officers do every single day. And we do, whether it's helping somebody change a flat tire or finding a missing person, recovering your stolen property, helping a young man across the crosswalk with their bicycle that has a flat tire. There's so many great things we do every day to make our community a little bit safer. And I would say that if I had one wish, it would be to start the clock all over again. I've been doing this, I'll be starting my 32nd year in November. And I wish I could start all over again and know what I know now. It has been an incredible, incredible ride. And we need good people. You know, this is our community. And every day we come to work, we have a chance to make it a little bit better than the day before. And I think that's the message I would send. It's exciting sometimes. It can be boring sometimes. And you never stop learning.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you very much. Good job, George.
This has been my interview with Sheriff Chitwood. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed.